Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host Lando. I am here today talking to you about all these running backs that were added from your waiver wire, the fallout of Le'Veon Bell being placed on IR, and where you should start these players. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. I'm Lando_FF. We are on Instagram and Twitter at Snap_Fantasy. And an hour before kickoff on every single Sunday, we do a live Q&A when we will give you any start-sit questions, any answers to whether you should start a wide receiver, tight end, anything, and we're fully up to date with all the news. So come back to this YouTube channel and you can answer any of your questions. We answer every single one. So number one, I'm gonna first off by saying, if you got Nyheim Hines off of waivers, congrats. That's awesome. Obviously, Marlon Mack going on IR is a hit to that team, but it should be the Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines show. We know how much Philip Rivers checks down to his running back, and Nyheim Hines should be a starter all season long. He's going to be a running back 2-3 flex all season long if things continue, but we shouldn't be too surprised if Jonathan Taylor gets the workload. So I'm here to kind of temper expectations and give you some guys that I would start in and around. We'll start with Nyheim Hines because he was the guy that was number one on priority. He was the guy that most people spent the most fab on. So guys right around Nyheim Hines for me, I'm talking James White, Antonio Gibson, Zach Moss, J.K. Dobbins, Devin Singletary. If you have Devin Singletary on your team, I would start him over Nyheim Hines, but I would start Nyheim Hines over guys like James White, Antonio Gibson, and Malcolm Brown. So that brings me to the next guy up. Malcolm Brown got a giant workload week 1. He got a couple touchdowns, but for me, he was still in that committee backfield with Cam Akers. Darrell Henderson wasn't used much, but he potentially could be used more and more as the season progresses. I have Malcolm Brown a few slots down from Nyheim Hines, but Malcolm Brown is ahead of guys like Tariq Cohen, James Robinson, James Conner, and Joshua Kelly. Guys that I also like, but James Conner has that injury. Him and Benny Snell, depending on what happens there, might have a split backfield, depending on how confident we are in James Conner staying healthy. But I feel more comfortable right now starting Malcolm Brown because he gets those guaranteed goal line work. At least he got that week 1. And he got that last year too. Week 1, he got a couple touchdowns. So I expect that to keep the trend going for LA. And Malcolm Brown is a very good add. Congrats again if you got Malcolm Brown. If you have another question like starting Leonard Fournette or Malcolm Brown this week, my answer to you is Malcolm Brown. If you have other questions, come back again on Sunday morning. Next, I will go to the next guy on our rankings, and that is going to be Adrian Peterson. You may have picked up Adrian Peterson off waivers. Adrian Peterson's great. He's a guy that I didn't love off of waivers, but he looked really good. He got 14 carries for about 92 or 93 yards last week. He didn't get a touchdown, but not to say he won't get one this week. They play Green Bay, which is an okay matchup. Dalvin Cook had a pretty good game. Adrian Peterson isn't a long-term guy for that team. I still like DeAndre Swift long-term. DeAndre Swift got a touchdown and could have had 2 and the game-winning touchdown to win that game. But I do think that Adrian Peterson will probably be more of the workhorse running back week 1. This week, week 2 against Green Bay. He'll get more carries. Eventually, it will be the DeAndre Swift show. So if you need a start, Adrian Peterson isn't a bad start. I would start him over guys like Tevin Coleman, obviously his guy Kerryon Johnson, Chase Edmonds, Tony Pollard, all these guys I have below Adrian Peterson. Guys I would start ahead of Adrian Peterson are Latavius Murray. I kind of like Latavius Murray this week more against Las Vegas. I like Leonard Fournette, Joshua Kelly, James Robinson ahead of Adrian Peterson this week. I think DeAndre Swift is going to start to get more carries, get his confidence high. We don't want a rookie getting a low confidence early on in his career. So I think he'll get lots of opportunity, and this Green Bay matchup should be a bit of a shootout, I hope. Finally, the lowest of this list is going to be Frank Gore. even though he should have a lot of workload, it's still the running back for the New York Jets. They play San Francisco. It's a really tough matchup, even though Richard Sherman's on IR. I think the loss to Arizona for San Francisco was going to hurt a little bit, and they're going to want to come back with a vengeance against the Jets. The Jets aren't a great team. Even if you have the bell cow for the Jets, it's not worth a lot. Le'Veon Bell showed that last week. So Frank Gore, even though he's going to be a bowling ball out there, he should still be, I could see him getting 18 to 19 carries, but he might have a very low, maybe 3.2 yards per carry. We'll see if LaMichael Pirine is active. If he is, he's the guy I want to watch. He's a rookie to come out and see how much explosion he has, how his vision is, and see really what kind of running back he is, and if he actually has any threat to Frank Gore. This new IR system has Frank Gore, or has Le'Veon Bell on the IR for at least 3 weeks, but he's eligible to come back after 3 weeks. So if you have any specific questions, comment below or come by on Sunday. We'll answer the comments and all your questions on our live stream. But so far, this is it. Next, maybe you want to trade for guys. Trading for players right now that had a down week 1 could help you if you lost a guy like Le'Veon Bell. And some of these players that I really like that had a bad week 1 are going to be guys like Mark Ingram, where J.K. Dobbins was involved in the red zone, but I do think that Mark Ingram will be more involved going forward. I know that's yet to be seen, but I do think that there's going to be an opportunity for him going forward. I also believe that Nick Chubb is a great buy low opportunity for players that maybe have that need a running back, and even though Kareem Hunt was involved, I still think Nick Chubb is going to be great. Austin Eckler is finally my last buy low candidate, and he has a chance to really do big things against Kansas City this week and could get back up to that top 12, top 15 running backs for the LA Chargers. He's a guy that I still believe in. I guess finally, if people are selling Joe Mixon, you might as well buy. This offense is on the upswing. This week they play Cleveland. He should bounce back again. Joe Mixon should be the bell cow. I don't think Gio Bernard's going to be the long-term solution. They just paid him, and he should have an opportunity to really pay off his draft capital. If you can find guys that are selling those guys, buy them for a discount. Selling a guy like Nyheim Hines after having a top-end performance. He's not a top 12 running back, but I do believe he could be a season-long kind of fringe RB3 flex play. Alright guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, jump on, send a like, have a comment, and hopefully we will see you on Sunday. Thanks again.